Okay, now we can all brag that we can handle snow in Kansas City. After the big storm that we had a couple of weeks ago, this is nothing. Nothing for any of us. Piece of cake. We love it. I'm Kevin Kietzman. This is Uncanceled on 95.7 KCMO Talk Radio. Easy drive into work today. Go ahead and stay home if you're listening on your Alexa or home device or at kcmotalkradio.com or anywhere you listen to live audio. We are there with you on the go, on demand, anytime. We appreciate you listening today. The roads are not terrible. This is that light powdery stuff. It's going to be very easy to clear the driveway and whatnot. I did not get that done before I came in today. I thought maybe we'd get another dusting. If I can just do it once, that's great. I like to be perfectly dry. My wife says, I told her how great it was. This is great. This is nothing. Piece of cake. Dog's going to be fine. I don't have to shovel a path for him in the yard. Nothing. It's going to be great. Well, we got 5 more inches coming Saturday, she says. I'm like, oh, boy. I'm sitting here enjoying and reveling in this. She gets fixated on her phone and gets scared. This one was going to be 10, and I didn't listen to any of it for days. I was like, nope. The one we had with the 15 inches or whatever it was, I heard about it, and then I got a little nervous about the day before. And that was it. There's no reason to until you get really close. This is a good one. So we hope you're being safe, and everything is good. We got a nice show lined up for you today. A lot of great topics. Too many things to keep up with. We're going to have some fun. We're going to address Travis Kelce, and will he be retiring? It sounds like it. I'll give you my interpretation. It sounds like it. He's made comments on his podcast. It sounds like he's at the end. Patrick Mahomes Sr. in a fight with a former baseball pitcher, John Rocker, after an altercation at the Super Bowl in New Orleans last weekend is a wild story. We have new information on the jet crash in Arizona that the plane is owned by Motley Crue singer Vince Neil. And my thoughts on ICE raiding the Mexican restaurant in Liberty a couple of days ago and the reaction in Kansas City after they went in to get a child sex predator and how they handled that, all straight ahead. But we will start today about something Pete was just talking about a few minutes ago, and that is Governor Laura Kelly in Kansas vetoing Senate Bill 63 that basically was going to prevent the ability for children to get puberty blockers. Let me stop right there. We're in a post-COVID era where gain-of-function research in a lab in China, funded by your tax dollars, our federal government, and Dr. Fauci, caused a pandemic around the world. Does it ever occur to people that we try to do too much with science and medicine, and some things are best left alone? Now, I don't live with my head in the sand. I know that's not likely to happen, but there are certain things that you hear them and they make no sense. I'm going to repeat the term again, and this is their chosen term. Puberty blockers. Why would you block anything on your body other than cancer cells? Like anything God gave you when you were born, why are you blocking that? You don't want a urine blocker. I don't think you want a colon blocker. What do you want to block in your body? Why would you block puberty? That's what they call these things. Puberty blockers. Terrible idea. Awful idea for a child. Awful. Hormone drugs and sex change surgeries for minors. Laura Kelly wants to go out as governor of Kansas with this on her historical record. This is not the hill to die on. She's really got no future after her term is up. This will get overridden. Speaker Dan Hawkins has already said we're going to override Laura Kelly's reckless veto, and I think that's right. I can't imagine anybody with an R by their name in the Kansas House or Senate not voting to override the veto. I can't even imagine it. This is not some tax issue. You know, some guy in Fort Scott shut that thing down a couple of years ago where we're worried about, hey, we don't make as much money here as they do in Wichita or Kansas City or whatever. There's certain things that we know Republicans could disagree on. What Republican is going to think that these operations, blockers, and drugs for kids is a good idea? That these kids have some sort of a right to this? It's absolutely insane. Our right as a society is to protect our minors and our children and to protect our elderly. And what we do between the ages of 18 and 70 or whatever number you want to say somebody's age is that they're a senior that needs help, go live your life. But there will be a time, there was a time when you were young and there's a time when you're older, you're going to need some help. And society's, one of the biggest responsibilities we have is to watch over these people and make sure that others don't take advantage of them, whether that's fraud against seniors, which is a huge problem in this country. Seniors are ripped off every day with robocalls, phone calls that they call back on, and now all of a sudden their bank account gets stolen. It happens all the time. Fraud being perpetrated on seniors is a terrible thing. Oh, but we're going to let kids with crazy parents or some people around them do something. You can't drink alcohol, but we'll block your puberty. So we have laws in place say you can't drink alcohol until you're 21. We got all kinds of laws in place protecting minors all over the place. Oh, but when it comes to carving up your genitals, no big deal. Go for it. Yeah, it's your body, your choice. Except for COVID and taking a shot. You have no choice there. You have to take it. Or you're going to get fired, or you can't fly, or you can't go to the coffee shop. What I don't understand about things like this is Laura Kelly she can't really love this, right? It has to be some sort of pandering to the left. And it reminds me of everything that we're seeing in D.C. Pete just played that incredibly awful rally song that the Democrats were singing. And the things that they're saying right now, they haven't learned anything from the election. It's only 3.5 weeks into the Trump presidency, so we don't expect Democrats to have learned anything yet. It's like sending a kindergartner off. The only thing they've learned at this point is to roll up their little blanket thing, at nap time and lay down. That's all they've learned. They haven't learned anything about what they're going to learn in kindergarten. They've just, learning the process of how this is going to be. But this is a tsunami against Democrats in America right now. Everyone is seeing it. Everyone is feeling it. Laura Kelly missed the memo. She's going to get overridden. Look, I'm not politically that savvy, but I just can't imagine any Republican going on record as for this. So if it's going to be overridden or veto, why? Why veto it? Just let it go. You're a lame duck governor. Just let it go. Why would you want this to be your legacy? This will not age well. You'll be dead and gone, and people will remember that you did this, that you stood for these things, and it will not be good for a legacy. It will not age well in any way, shape, or form. It must just be pandering to the really, really, really small minority of far left people in the state of Kansas. But we see this all over the place, and we want to see a better America. And we got the best of America yesterday. Donald Trump welcoming Mark Fogel to the White House after 4 years, nearly 4 years, in a prison in Russia is another story. This many days, 23 days into his presidency, it's a drip, drip, drip every day that's killing the Hate America crowd. It's silencing them. Actually, it's turning them into a laughingstock. We're seeing the rallies, we're hearing the comments, and people that maybe were in the middle before or maybe are mainstream Democrats are laughing at what they're hearing from the far leftists right now. They're laughing at this. They literally went in yesterday and asked Elon Musk a question in the Oval Office about the $50 million worth of condoms sent to Gaza. And the reporter prefaced it like this. The reporter said, "You said $50 million worth of condoms went to Gaza, and you were wrong. They went to a country in Africa." And Musk looked at the reporter and said, "Yeah, we still stand by the fact that $50 million worth of condoms going to another country is a bad waste of taxpayer money. I'll make mistakes. I got the country wrong." Why? You just walked into a trap as a reporter. Musk completely swung it around. Everything they're doing from the hard left, far left is not working, and it won't work. And so I don't understand why Laura Kelly and some of these Dems are doing the things that they do. This was a waste of her time to veto this. It might have been time to just say, sign it into law. They're going to override me anyway. I can't win this one, and do it. Now, maybe she feels like that's not what she was elected to do, but this doesn't have anything really to do with abortion. Laura Kelly was the right candidate at the right time because abortion was kicked back to the states. There was a frenzy here. Abortion, the best thing about abortion, it's going to be in the next few years, the political story that does not matter. It's going to be an issue in campaigns that does not matter. It's going away finally. This is going to do it. The states are going to decide their laws, and that's going to be that. And that's going to be the way things go, and we're going to move on. But what I see in Trump, when I see Mark Fogel come back with an American flag around his neck and he gets out of a Learjet that one of Trump's billionaire buddies, who's his Middle East negotiator, goes over to Russia and picks him up in and gives him a glass of whiskey on that plane. American whiskey. I'm going to guess it was Jack Daniels. flies him home, touches the ground, gets out of the plane, drops down into the snow, and kisses Mother Earth on U.S. soil. And he comes to the White House and he says, I'm not a hero. This man is, Donald J. Trump. And he's got a flag around him. And Trump doesn't really have to say anything at that point. We get another one of these moments because I've been asked a million times, and you've been wondering, how does Trump bring patriotism back to the United States? Well, he does it by being an alpha male, number one. America loves a strong leader. His popularity is through the roof. They love a strong leader. Donald Trump right now is a very strong leader. He is a flag-waving, unapologetic, red, white, and blue, we're better than you, son of a gun like we have never seen in our lifetime. And every single day he does it, drip by drip, just like these other stories, America becomes more patriotic. We want to be patriotic. For the first time since I can remember, the Hate America crowd are not the cool kids anymore. It's not cool to run around and hate authority, hate America, hate this, hate that. It's not. Jump on the wagon. Young people love it. Young people have been craving this. Okay, my kids are a little older than the younger demographic that's swinging conservative. They grew up in an era where they were basically taught and told, your parents are stupid. You should be more liberal. You should believe all this stuff. My kids went through all that. Now they're getting older and smarter. They're figuring a lot of things out. But the young kids coming up right now, there's been a vacuum. Their parents were the wacky ones. And they're like, well, wait a second. We got this whole generation of wacky parents, and we don't think, and they're swinging to the right. It's odd, man. America definitely has eras where generations will swing opposite their parents at the young age because that's just rebelling against your parents. And they're susceptible to listening to their teachers. And we know the teachers have been liberal, but that didn't work this time with younger people because Donald Trump is out there on social media every single day now for a decade telling everyone we can't let people come across the border. We're not putting up with this crime anymore. We're not taking any crap from anybody anywhere on earth. And look at me. I've got 10 people from other countries being held against their will and brought them home in 3 weeks. 10 people. Joe Biden let this Mark Fogel rot in a Russian prison. Trump got him out within 3 weeks. It's a new era in America. Wave that flag. 913-408-7957. That's 913-408-7957. If you'd like to join the show, it's called Uncanceled. My name is Kevin Kietzman. We're back right after this.
You're listening to Kevin Kietzman Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM.
We're all about winning here at Uncanceled. In the new America 2025 and beyond, Google Maps has recognized Gulf of America. If you log on, Google's been no friend of conservatives at any point ever. In fact, I use a search engine called DuckDuckGo because it doesn't track your stuff. It's very private. So that's my main search engine that I use. But you know, if Google's going to come around, I could probably go with that, maybe. They've also scrubbed Pride Month from their calendar. Interesting stuff. Amazing. What happens when the American people wake up and say what they really believe? Let's go to the phones. Chuck is up first today on Uncanceled. Good morning, Chuck. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning, Kevin. I totally agree. I think these Democrats that realize that the gig's up, on this wasteful and fraud spending, people, it doesn't really matter where you stand. If you work and you have taxes taken out, it's upsetting. And I think, and the other point I wanted to make, as far as, Trump's going to be our president in 2026. That's our 250th anniversary. And I think patriotism is really going to be big that year.
And it ought to flow right into 2028 because we know who patriots vote for. If you really love America, if you're like, there's so many things about people who wear something with the flag on it or something America, you could almost identify them immediately. And this goes back for years. Remember when it was like controversial? Democrats were like, oh, should they wear an American flag pin on their lapel or shouldn't they? Now they all do, but we know they don't mean it because they already said they didn't want to or shouldn't have to, and now they do. And they're so fake. It's so sickening. But I think America's woken up to this, and I think social media really has done it.
Yeah, and two, I really think Trump's going to be out on the campaign trail in these midterms. And if these Democrats that are sort of in the middle of the road, they better jump on board and support what Elon's doing.
I agree. I cannot. Thank you for the call. Great stuff as always, man. Appreciate it. I agree wholeheartedly. I don't know why, if you were a Democrat, you wouldn't be on the DOJ subcommittee, and some have been on there and some have quit. They're all upset with it. Look, bring something to the table. Be a Democrat that says, let's cut this. Jump on board and say, okay, I don't like that they're cutting this, but offer up something else. And it doesn't have to be equal money. People, like 90% of Americans love the fact that the government is slashing what it's spending. Everybody loves this. Democrats and Republicans. I can't even imagine being a Democrat and sitting this out. You might as well get on board and come up with something on your own. It may be something that Republicans love. Say you want to slash it. Say you want to cut the military budget. I don't care. Come up with something and say, cut this. Join the conversation. That's where America is today. Leonard's with us in Johnson County. Hi, Leonard. How are you?
Doing good, buddy. Hey, Kevin, before I get to my point, I think by far the number one call to your show all year was when Steven called up and said, Keats, you were born to do this radio show. And we're better for that. So
that's kind of you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, you were talking about Laura Kelly. She's got one foot out the door and she's doing this song and dance and all that kind of stuff. And it's, if she was running again, I don't think she would do that. And to me, it makes me think about what Missouri's doing and how they're dropping the ball. Kansas is going to get this governor on the blocking the property taxes, and they're going to get that approved. And then all the people from Johnson County, Missouri, they're going to be making a mad rush over to Kansas, a 35-minute drive from Blue Springs, Lee Summit, and everything. And then what's going to happen? Inventory is going to go through the roof in Missouri. Property values are going to go down because they can't trust the property values going up. And so what do you think about that?
I think it's a bold prediction. I think anything is possible, and I think you're a smart enough guy. It sounds like you've thought about this a lot more than I have, so I'll defer to you at this point. Let me know if you see it happen, okay?
Okay, can I say one more thing?
Yes, real quick. I got a couple others on hold I'd like to get to.
Okay. And if, Jeff Coleman, he's the one that spearheads all this kind of stuff. And to me, when they send out the assessments, they're supposed to have them out by a certain time. And post dating, if they don't have the post date on there, then they can't prove that they send them out. So I was wondering if you could get him on the show. Okay,
we'll work on it. I think the simple problem with the assessments is we've got to get to a place where they're capped, and everybody knows that. We've got to pass laws in every one of these counties or municipalities to where they're capped in a given year that they can't go up more than a certain percentage. Here's Chuck in Harrisonville on Uncanceled. Good morning, Chuck.
I think you got Randy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Randy, sorry about that. Go ahead.
I'll be Chuck today.
All right.
I was going to say, I've been thinking a lot about, the difference because Americans want prosperity. All of us want to gain. We want to do well. We want to do well for our kids and prosperity. But here's the difference between conservatives and liberals. The conservatives believe that morality is the utmost foundation of prosperity, and liberals don't. And it's what it's turned into is in order for them to be prosperous, they wait till we prosper at something, and then they come steal it and say, looky there, we're prospering through our immorality.
That's pretty deep and well thought out. I like that. I can't disagree with that really in any way, man. So I think you're onto something.
Well, it's a principle, and principles always guide you in every circumstance. And the principle is Democrats are like, no, you don't understand. We love America too. It's like, right. But at the hallmark, and then they bash Christianity and faith,
right.
That is the hallmark of what made all of this prosper to begin with.
I agree with you 100% right there. If you hate the founding of this country, it's hard for me to believe you're a patriot.
Whether you're a Jayhawk, Wildcat, Tiger, or KC Roo, we won't cancel you. Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM.
All right, if you're waiting on hold, hang in there. I'm going to get back to the phones in just a moment or two. We'll get to you very shortly. My apologies again to Randy and Napoleon. I'm having a difficult time with the new software here, man. The old dog is trying to learn a new trick, and sometimes I just misread the screen. That's it. It's not that I can't see. If you want to watch the show and watch me screw up, we live stream it now on video on all the social media platforms. I think we have more people watching on X than the other platforms. If you go to @KCMO Talk Radio on X, you can watch the live broadcast. You can see us on the Facebook page, Instagram, all the social media platforms. If you want to check that out, you can see the video stream. I'm waving right now. Hello. There I am. I've got a typically old-fashioned hoodie on today because it's a snow day. I learned to dress very young to wear a very thick hoodie. My dad would tell me, in case you get stuck in the snow. I have gloves and a stocking cap in the car. I have a broom in case I find somebody else and need to help them out, and a little shovel. Didn't need any of it. But I was taught, I was not a Boy Scout, but my dad taught me, bundle up, wear something warm, be ready to go in case your car breaks down so you can handle it. And keep at least a half tank of gas. Oh, my God, that was the biggest thing for him. If he ever saw in the wintertime my tank got lower than half a tank, he'd lose his mind. That car's got to be heavy in that snow. Lynn, you may have to sit there and run it and keep the heat on. He's right. Some things age very well. Laura Kelly will not age very well.
I learned from my brother about gas. He ran out twice. I had to go bail him out. So I always keep mine, try to, about half or more.
In bad weather or just ran out of gas?
Just ran out of gas regular in the summer, yeah.
I think that's impossible to do anymore. That almost never happens.
Yeah.
Because when it gets to zero, there's still another gallon, which means if you get 25 miles to gallon, you got another 25 miles. They're tricking you into getting to the gas station.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that publicly, right? That should be against the law to say that. But we all know that, right? You go fill your tank up when it says 0 miles left. It's always 1 gallon short of the capacity of your tank. That's a good plan. I think the car company's got that one right. All right, what's Travis Kelce going to do in the future? He says he's going to kick it down the road. He's played a whole bunch of extra games. His body's hurt. And I'll throw this into the equation. He was terrible Sunday. Now, Travis Kelce's the GOAT of tight ends as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what happened, and I hate to use the Q word. And the last thing I want to do in this town is call Travis Kelce a quitter. But there were plays that he was not playing, and that's been exposed on film now. You can see that in a lot of different places. He was the last guy off the snap multiple times. His head clearly wasn't in the game. He missed about 1 million blocks. He dropped an important pass early in the game. Something was going on with Travis Kelce. I don't know what it was. Maybe he was really, really, really hurting and injured and maybe shouldn't have played. That's always a possibility with one of the greats. They used to argue about Cal Ripken Jr. during his streak in baseball, baseball's Iron Man. Is he helping or hurting the team by playing every night? Because there were times where he was in so much pain, he'd go 0 for 4 and maybe even kick a ball on the field. And you'd say, well, okay, was he helping or hurting the team by playing another game? Travis Kelce's game might have been Sunday. He was not good in any way, and he knows it. And what he's saying right now is he's done, but he's not announcing it. I have heard 1 million players do this, and a few weeks later say, I'm rested, I feel good, I'm committed, and I'm coming back. So I'm not telling you he's not coming back. What I'm telling you, Kelce in his mind is done. The comments that he made on his podcast, in his mind, he's decided he's out. But he may be a totally different person in 6 weeks. Little vacation in Spain, some beach time, hanging out with Tay-Tay, flying around on jets. We know he likes his beer and champagne and all these other things, maybe a few good parties, a couple of 12-hour nights of sleep. He may wake up and go, you know what, I kind of miss football. I want to play. And he may talk to his brother who says, I retired after last year and could have won a Super Bowl this year. You can't go back. Once you retire, very few people are able to go back. Some do, occasionally, probably not Travis Kelce at his age and his position. If you have one more year and you have one more year, the question is, was this his one more year? I think it was. I'm not asking him to retire. I don't want him to or not want him to. I want Travis Kelce to do what makes him happy. All I know is he was one of the worst players on the team Sunday night. He absolutely was. And that's a hard thing to say in this town. I know it. But Mahomes was bad too. The two biggest name stars on the team were both dreadful. Can we agree with that? We can also say that that happens in sports. We know that it does. David's in Lee Summit joining us on Uncanceled. Good morning, David. How are you?
I'm on a treadmill, so if I sound out of breath, that's why.
Okay.
Hey, as far as Travis Kelce is concerned, I'm glad my father passed because he was his boy. he every time he'd make a touchdown, that's my boy.
Okay.
And anyway, I don't think I don't know about Mahomes. I think most of his problem is the offensive line. Anyway, the reason I called is I'm 65. I turned 65 last year, and I'm old enough to remember Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan. And I'll be honest with you, I never thought I would see a president worse than Carter,
Right.
or a president better than Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wrong both times.
I'm 60. I am going to let you go. You're noisy on your treadmill. I appreciate you working out every day, and I appreciate you listening to KCMO Talk Radio, but that was a little noisy for me. I'm 100% with you, man. I agree on both counts, and I've repeated that over the last few months to my wife many times. Never thought I'd see anything worse than Carter, and I did. Never thought anything better than Reagan. I was really, really disappointed and sure that I'd never see a better president than Reagan. And Trump is blowing right by him. Now, he's got 3.5, almost 4 years to go in this term, and a lot of things could happen. I mean, he's doing things that could disrupt mankind globally in such a way that it could create conflict and become real problems. So when we look back on total legacies, it's important that what Trump is doing that's good for America right now doesn't put America in a bad spot where our enemies are more committed than ever to destroy us. We can't do that. We want to spread freedom, democracy around the world. That's what we want to do. I love his plan in Gaza. I love the plan. Who would have come up with that? He basically wants to turn it into a multinational, 26-mile area. It's 26 miles long. It's 7 miles wide. Like, okay, you've heard of hotel zones? If you go to Mexico, they call it a zona hotela, or however you would say it. The hotel zone in Cancun is miles long, right? The hotel zone in Cabo is miles long. That's what he wants to do in Gaza. It's going to be a hotel, 20 miles of hotels, condominiums, golf courses, resorts, marinas, yachts, people vacationing from Europe, the Middle East, maybe Americans, and every country gets to come in and build something and commit to this area in a multinational effort that Israel is going to oversee, which means we're going to oversee, but it's going to be an independent nothing. It's going to be its own entity. And if countries around the world become shareholders in that company, isn't that what we've been trying to do since the beginning of time? Is find a way to connect through our similarities and not our differences and say, this is it. This is the international zone of the world. Maybe the Chinese buy a couple of miles worth and build some resorts and hotels and whatever. I don't know. They're not about democracy and freedom. We know that. They're about communism. Russia, why would you not invite these other countries? They can all come in. Trump is saying anybody can come in and invest in this. We'll make this a world place. We'll be the leader on this project. That's how you do it. And that's what Trump wants his legacy to be. So I don't think he's going to get us into a spot over the next few years. We're in real trouble because of the things that we're doing. I think we can export American greatness. I think we absolutely can export freedom and democracy. And I'm hoping that we are well on our way to doing that. Here's Bob on KCMO Talk Radio. Good morning, Bob.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Sure.
I'm a little bit tardy in my comment. I want to comment on the USA scam, rip-off scam. And, this scam is as old as the hills. All it is have your pals go into some position where you can give them a bunch of money and kick it back to you. That's really about all it is. And the Democrats are knee-deep in this thing, and that's why they're the ones that are out on TV screaming bloody murder, trying to shout down Trump and get him to go away. But he's not going to go away, okay? He's going to end up – I want to end up finding out who is on the receiving end of all this money that was stolen from us, and I want him thrown in prison or executed, one or the other.
I think you'll agree with me when I say this. We're learning that the Democrats' lifeline was never the voters. It was the actual government itself.
Exactly.
That's
well,
it.
Which is the voters, which is right out of our pocket into their pocket, and that's just another. The scam's as old as the hills. Really, it is. It's like, hey, we'll put you in this position. It's pure nepotism. It's just like you own your own company, and your family comes in and has vice president positions, secretary, treasurer positions. You pay them a bunch of money to do nothing.
I got to play this call back for my wife. Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say. We have a small company. It's just me and her, but she's the vice president. So that's when you said that, we made her. Somebody had to be the vice president, and there's only two of us.
Well, she's probably listening. So
I know I'm in trouble. My day is over.
Okay.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate your call. That is great stuff. Thank you very much. Really do. Here is Stephen in Kansas City, Kansas. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, Kev.
Hey. Hey, Stephen.
It may be a small thing, but this whole thing with Travis Kelce just kind of rubs me wrong that he's going out and eating on Bourbon Street, in the days before the game. I think the whole profile of professional athletes have changed.
I think you just didn't see it. I think you just didn't see it back in the day, dude.
Well, maybe so, but I'm watching K-State have one of the greatest years in their history, and
what are you talking about? In what sport? In what sport?
Recently. I'm sitting.
Stephen, the hyperbole, I love you, man, but the hyperbole that you bring to this show is too much. All right, they're 2 games over 500. That is not the greatest season in their history. They have a 9% chance of making the NCAA tournament. 9, not 90, 9.
You had the greatest victory since 1951.
No, I'm going to stop you right there. It's unbelievable. It's not even close to the greatest victory ever. Come on, Stephen. Come on. Come on.
Well,
tell me about your Nebraska. Aren't you a Nebraska? I thought you were a Nebraska Cornhusker fan.
No. I'm sitting there watching my Jayhawks last night.
Were you a Nebraska fan?
At what point?
That's it. I'm done with this call. Stephen, you're done. You're done. We don't tolerate that kind of stuff on this show. You're done, Stephen. You better bring it next time and stick to your Travis Kelce comments. That's the way it's going to work here. Joe is in Overland Park on KCMO Talk Radio. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Kevin. How you doing?
Great. Thank you.
Good. Hey, I just wanted to share with you, I think I heard one of the dumbest comments. I was watching the Doge oversight hearing this morning, and there was a Democrat from Texas who was complaining about Elon Musk being a non-elected bureaucrat.
Yeah.
And I just said to myself, that's what's beautiful about it. He's not elected, and he's not a bureaucrat. That's what's beautiful about it. He doesn't have to worry about getting reelected. So anyway, that's my comment.
After the Democrats, for decades, have built a government with non-elected bureaucrats spending all our money. Yes, that's correct. There's some real hubris in that, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
All right.
Yes, there is.
Great call, Joe. Thank you so much for calling. You can call me anytime. This is Uncanceled on 95.7 KCMO Talk Radio.
Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled. 10 to 11 a.m. on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
We're back on KCMO Talk Radio, and we'll take one more call here before I finish up with a couple of topics I promised, and that is Patrick Mahomes Sr. in it with another former baseball star and the Motley Crue plane crash. We have an update on that one. But right now, by virtue of her gender, Barb is up. We always put ladies first. Hello, Barb and Lawrence. How are you today?
That's very nice of you. Well, here's a solution. Taxpayers should stop paying their damn taxes until Congress passes a bill that says we're not going to make any more payments to unknown, people and no social security numbers. This is outrageous. What are we doing in this country? We're going broke as fast as we can go broke. So no more taxes from us until they start paying to real people and real social security numbers.
I am with you. I'm 100% with you in spirit, but I don't want to hear any of our listeners getting arrested by the IRS.
Well, okay. But anyway, Congress can pass a bill. Quit blaming Elon Musk and the president. They're pointing out the problem. Congress can actually solve the problem.
That's right.
And quit looking at each other like, well, what are we going to do about it?
Yeah, and
enough of this already.
And no more continuing resolutions. Let's actually pass a budget. Let's get this done. The Republicans are in charge. Yeah. Get on the same page and let's get it done.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. I'm with you.
You're awesome, Barb.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks.
Call me again sometime. Thank you very much. We always put ladies to the front of the line. We're not going to make you wait. That's your job, to make us wait all day. See, this is the way it works. Guys don't make ladies wait. Ladies make guys wait. That's okay. It's been that way for, a million years probably. Just a hunch. The Chinese spy balloon that flew over America a couple of years ago and we shot down, there's a report out now. We've released the findings because we're releasing everything now. There's no more secrets in America. 5 different American tech companies were involved in the technology on the spy balloon. Most of these you would call like over-the-counter technologies. You can just buy them from American companies. The Chinese spy balloon was built with American technology. Do we really think they're ahead of us in the AI race if their spy balloon is filled with 5 different American companies' technology? Mark, what say you? How can they possibly be ahead in AI?
No. I think they're trying to catch up and they're trying to copy us, but I don't think they're ahead of us.
We shot down American companies' technology in a spy balloon, which is the worst technology there is. Patrick Mahomes Sr. got into a fight with a former pitcher named John Rocker at the Super Bowl on Bourbon Street prior to the game. Patrick Mahomes Sr. has multiple DUIs. John Rocker is a what Anderson Cooper called the guy on CNN last night. Yeah, the D word. John Rocker is. Now, John Rocker's all team MAGA, like all MAGA, all in all the time. And he thinks he's uncanceled. But then he goes out and does stuff like this. He makes some cracks at Patrick Mahomes Sr. about his drinking or DUIs on the street. Mahomes doesn't like it. They know each other. They were both pitchers in the major leagues. Patrick Mahomes Sr. is older, but Rocker's not young. Rocker at one point was considered a homophobe and possibly a racist. This couldn't end well. People broke him up. There was going to be a fight, and now they're just slaughtering each other on social media.
Dave Portnoy is trying to get a boxing match set up between them.
Oh, my God. Rocker would destroy him. Have you seen Rocker?
Yeah.
Rocker's huge.
Uh-huh.
What a bunch of fools. What's all the fighting about? What are we doing here? Update on the Motley Crue Vince Neil plane crash. He owns the plane. We know that his girlfriend was fine. Her girlfriend was fine. The dogs were fine. We have now learned that the person that died was the co-pilot, not the pilot, was simply the flight engineer. And I won't say this is a good story, but certainly we can put a bow on this plane crash. The person who died was a 78-year-old Vietnam Marine veteran engineer, Joey Vitoski, and his wife said he'd be very happy to go the way he did, that he loved flying, he was nearly 80 years old, he lived a great life, he served his country, he was the flight engineer that day. It was nobody's fault. The landing gear broke when the plane hit the ground, and that is truly the way he would like to go. I've probably said a million times, if I died on a golf course getting struck by lightning at 78 or older, don't feel bad for me. Does age matter? When somebody dies tragically in a plane crash, Mark, it probably shouldn't matter, but it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Man lived his best life, and his wife brought that out. So something good, at least a bow, in something terribly tragic. We're happy the others we're okay in that one. Another fun show, man. Keep bringing it. Bring those calls. I don't mind doing a little sparring. I'm going to call you out now. You wander off on your treadmill and start making no sense, I'm going to let you know. This is Uncanceled. Dan Bongino is up next.